So when I was given the task of doing the US Civic test, I realized that it was not so engaging going through just reading the book. So I thought, let's make it more pictorial. So I made it more pictorial here to understand this faster. So I recommend going through this pictorial version first and then go back and do some reading to prepare for yourself. So let's start. What really happened back in 1700s? The European settlers arrived in US. They arrived and settled into like 13 different colonies. These 13 different colonies are today represented in our flag as 13 stripes. These colonies these settlers came in here for freedom and economic opportunities. Before they arrived, there were Native Americans, which are the various tribes that we see today, like Cherokee, Apache. The norm in 1700s was to have worker bees or slaves from Africa. There was one problem there. Great Britain was running high taxes without any representation. They was not offering any self-government, and this is what George Washington took objection to, and he fought the British. He took a fight against Great Britain and tried to create a new nation, US, which is why he is called the father of our nation. In order for us to remember easily, what I've done is I've organized the happenings of the events in a chronological order, so that will be easier for us to remember and associate of how things happen, and we can see a story around this. So let's look into it. On July 4th, 1776, we announced our independence from Great Britain. We declared, in the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson wrote the key rights: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Following that, after 11 years, is where Benjamin Franklin, one of the oldest members to attend the Constitutional Convention, attended the Constitutional Convention, where we wrote our Constitution. The first three words of the Constitution, "we the people," clearly tells that we are self-governing, we are self-government people, or we are the government in some fashion. Now, what Constitution does is sets up the government. It's the core of our government. The Federalist paper wrote a passage on our Constitution, and one of the writers was Alexander Hamilton. The way the Constitution was defined was we allow change to Constitution. We realize that certain things need to change over time, and these change to Constitutions are called amendments. We have till date allowed 27 different amendments to our Constitution. The first 10 changes that we have allowed, or amendments we allowed, are called Bill of Rights, wherein we brought in the right to speech, right to religion, etc. Towards the later part of 1700s is where we coined our first president, George Washington. Like every newly formed country, we were having our own sort of problems. After getting, freedom from Great Britain, we had to buy the Louisiana territory from France. We had to go through a share of wars, including the Civil War, which was the war between the North and the South. The key issues around that war was slavery, economic reasons, and state rights. Abraham Lincoln played a key role in helping us take care of slavery. He helped free the slaves through Emancipation Proclamation. Emancipation Proclamation essentially is to free the slaves. As we go into the 19th century, we see we had to go through World War I, which was led by Woodrow Wilson. The women's rights issues were led by Susan B. Anthony. She fought for women rights and brought changes in the Constitution. World War II was led by Franklin Roosevelt, we fought against Japan, Germany, and Italy. The then General Eisenhower later on becomes our president. The civil rights movement was the moment where we tried to end the racial discrimination. Martin Luther King fought for the civil rights and equality and won a Nobel Prize. We had a share of few more wars, including the Cold War against Soviet Union, where the key issue was communism. In recent years, the biggest issue that happened in 2000 was terrorist attack United States in 2001. US government is broken down in a way that no single part of the government can become too powerful, and that's what we call federation of power, or the federal government. So the federal government is broken down into three main parts: the legislative, which makes laws, the executive that enforces laws, and the judicial that reviews laws. The legislative part, you can see it as made up of Congress, which is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. We elect as senators every 6 years. We elect House of Representatives every 2 years. There are in all 50 states. Each state has got 2 senators, so totally we have 100 senators. Bill Nelson is the senator for Florida, and he represents the people of the state. House of Representatives vary based on the population of the state. So in all we have 435 House of Representatives, and the number from each state would be more or less based on the state's population. We have the Speaker of the House as John Boehner today. On the executive side, executive branch enforces laws, and this comprises of the president and his cabinet. Today the president is Barack Obama. We elect president every 4 years. The elections happens in November. President is responsible for signing bills to become law. He can even veto bills. He's also the commander-in-chief of the military. The vice president is Joseph R. Biden Jr. The cabinet essentially advises the president and is made up of various secretaries like Secretary of Education, Secretary of Defense, and so on. The judicial branch reviews laws, ensure they follow the Constitution. The highest court of justice in United States is Supreme Court. There are a total of 9 justices on the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice today is John G. Roberts Jr. United States has 2 main political parties: Democratic, the current president, and the Republican Party. The state government and the federal government has also federated powers. Federal government can print money, whereas state government can do schooling and education, is responsible for schooling and education. The governor at the state level is essentially the president of the state. Currently the Florida governor is Rick Scott. So this is how the US government is organized, with nobody getting too powerful. United States is a land of immigrant. However, it gives freedom at every level. If you see, they give religious freedom, they give economic freedom. You can practice any or no religion. The economy is capitalist, so it's a market driven. Market decides everything. There's a rule of law. Basically, no one is above the law. So you get fair treatment all throughout. Not even government can take away the rights. The US residents who reside in United States have to pay income tax. The date is every year April 15th. The rights every resident gets is freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom of assembly, and many more. When you convert into a citizen, you essentially give up loyalty to other countries, and you further get right to vote and run for federal office. The democracy ensures that every citizen gets the right to vote and run for office. The constitutional amendment that happened was to ensure that citizens 18 and older can vote. The key responsibilities as citizens are vote in a federal election and serve on a jury. You also have to register into selective service. You must register between the age of 18 and 26 into selective service. Let's look at some of the geography of United States. United States is one of the largest countries. It borders Canada with the state New York. It borders Mexico with the state Texas. The capital of United States is Washington, D.C. The Statue of Liberty is located in New York Harbor. The two largest rivers in United States are Missouri and Mississippi. On the west coast of United States is Pacific Ocean. On the east coast is Atlantic Ocean. One of the US territories is Puerto Rico. When you say Pledge of Allegiance, you say it for the flag or the US. The flag essentially is also called the Stars Spangled Banner. It shows the 13 stripes for the 13 original colonies. It also shows 50 stars for the today's 50 state. The key holidays that US observes are Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So with that, I just want to say what I've done here is collated all the matter that was there in the book. All the questions are covered here. However, this should be like a starting point for you to understand where things fall in place, and then you should be able to prepare and see the book or the questions much better. So with that, I want to thank you and good luck.